Next part of our program is Sunday Feast Lecture. Today's class will be given by His Grace Radha Damodar Prabhu. Prabhu doesn't require any introduction to our congregation, but for our purification, telling few words. Prabhu is actively participating in many temple services, such as telecasting online audio and video of temple programs, Japa conference in early morning, and Prabhu involves in various other services. Above all, Prabhu is very kind and sincere devotee and inspiring to others. With that, we will welcome Prabhu by loudly chanting one time Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Prabhu, over to you.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Everything okay? Okay. Yes, bro. Thank you. Just setting it up. Just give me a few seconds. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. First of all, thank you everyone for joining today's Sunday Feast program. And thank you Satsara Prabhu and Jai Sakudra Mataji for giving me an opportunity to purify myself by presenting this chapter. So, before we start, we'll get the right atmosphere by singing Jai Radha Madhava, which will will be in the Vrindavana mode and listen to this Krishna Katha. Okay. Ready? Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरि यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण राम राम हरे हरे. Now we'll invoke prayers before the classes. Okay. Yes, Prachi.
Come forward and move towards your right. This side, so that whoever comes, they can join.
Move towards the right, this side.
This side towards your right.
Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmitamena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Vandeham Sri Gurum Sri Yudapada Kamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagraham Sagajana Ganam Jagnatham Vidam Tam Sajivam Swadaivam Savatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vidamscha. हे कृष्णा करुणात् सिंधो दीनबंधो सुकृपदे गोपेश गोपिका कांद राधा कांद नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुदे देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुवे एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमदे भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निधि नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasad. Okay. Okay, today I have been given by a very famous verse, very important verse by Jai Subhadra Mataji and Satyadhara Prabhu. So let's all really get into the depth of it. This very, very important verse. So before I start, I'm going to offer the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Matha Sarvam Pravartate Iti Matva Bhajande Mam Buddha Bhava Samanvita Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Matha Sarvam Pravartate Iti Matva Bhajande Mam Buddha Bhava Samanvita Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Matta Sarvam Pravartate Iti Mattva Bhajande Mam Buddha Bhava Samanvita. Okay, anyone would like to recite this? Okay, go ahead. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Matta Sarvam Pravartate Iti Matva Bhajante Mam Buddha Bhava Samannitaha. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Matta Sarvam Pravartate Iti Matva Bhajante Mam Buddha Bhava Samanvita. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Matta Sarvam Pravartate Iti Matva Bhajante Mam Buddha Bhava Samanvita. Somebody from there? Yeah. Adham Sarvasya Prabhava Matta Sarvam Pravartate Iti Matva Bhajante Mam Buddha Bhava Samanvita. Okay. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Matta Sarvam Pravartate Iti Matva Bhajante Mam Buddha Bhava Samanvita. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Matta Sarvam Pravartate Iti Matva Bhajante Mam Buddha Bhava Samanvita. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Matta Sarvam Pravartate Iti Matva Bhajante Mam Buddha Bhava Samanvita. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Matta Sarvam Pravartate iti matva bhajante mam. Buddha bhava samanvita. One last one. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. Matta sarvam pravartate. Iti matva bhajante mam. Buddha bhava samanvita. Hare Krishna, thank you. So the synonyms: aham, I, sarvasya, of all, prabhava, the source of generation, mataha, from me, sarvam, everything, pravartate, emanates, iti, thus, matva, knowing, bhajante, become devoted, mam, unto me, Buddha, they learned, bhava samanvita, with great attention. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation: I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly knows this engages in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So the purport I have divided into three parts. I would like three different people to read it out. Okay. All right. I'll start with.
Okay. This the whole thing?
Yeah.
A learned scholar who has studied the Vedas perfectly and has information from authorities like Lord Chaitanya, and who knows how to apply these teachings, can understand that Krishna is the origin of everything in both the material and spiritual worlds. And because he knows this perfectly, he becomes firmly fixed in devotional service of the Supreme Lord. He can never be deviated by any amount of non-sensual commentaries or by fools. All Vedic literature agrees that Krishna is the source of Brahma, Shiva, and other demigods. In the Atharva Veda, Gopala Tapani Upanishad 1.24, it is said, Yo Brahman Vidhadati Purvam Yo Vai Vedamscha Gapayati Sma Kritsnaha. It was Krishna who in the beginning instructed Brahma in Vedic knowledge and who disseminated Vedic knowledge in the past. Then again, the Narayana Upanishad 1 says, Ata Purusho Havai Narayano Khyamata Prajana Shineti. Then the Supreme Personality Narayana decided to create living entities. The Upanishad continues, Narayanad Brahma Jayate, Narayanad Prajapati Prajayate, Narayanad Indra Jayate, Narayanad Asattu Vashavo Jayante, Narayanad Ekadasha Rudhya Jayante, Narayanad Dvaishadhyatiya. From Narayana, Brahma is born, and from Narayana, the Partayaks are also born. From Narayana, Indra is born. From Narayana, the 8 Vasus are born. From Narayana, the 11 Rudras are born. From Narayana, the 12 Adityas are born. This Narayana is an expansion of Krishna.
It is said in the same Vedas, Brahmano Vediki Putra, the son of Devaki, Krishna, is the Supreme Personality. Narayana Upanishad 4. Then it is said, Eko vai Narayana asin na brahmananesho napo nagni samo nime vayu apurvati na kangshrati na surya. In the beginning of the creation, there was only the Supreme Personality Narayan. There was no Brahman, no Siva, no water, no fire, no moon, no heaven, and earth, no stars in the sky, no sun. Maha Upanishad 1.2. In the Maha Upanishad, it is said also that the Lord Siva was born from the forehead of the Supreme Lord. Thus the Vedas say that it is the Supreme Lord, the creator of Brahma and Shiva, who is to be worshipped. In the Moksha Brahma section of the Mahabharata, Krishna also says, Prajapati cha rudram chapi aham eva srajami va tahi mam na vijanito mama maya imohito. Sorry. The patriarchs Shiva and the others are created by me, though they do not know that they are created by me because they are deluded by my illusionary energy.
Narayana Paro Devas Tasmat Jatas Chadurmukha Tasmat Rudro Bhava Devaha Sacha Sarva Nadam Gataha. Narayana is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and from him Brahma was born, and from whom Shiva was born. Lord Krishna is the source of all generations, and he is called the most efficient cause of everything. He says, because everything is born of me, I am the original source of all. Everything is under me, no one is above me. There is no supreme controller other than Krishna. One who understands Krishna in such a way from a bona fide spiritual master with references from Vedic literature engages all his energy in Krishna consciousness and becomes a truly learned man. In comparison to him, all others who do not know Krishna properly are but fools. Only a fool would consider Krishna to be an ordinary man. A Krishna-conscious person should not be bewildered by fools. He should avoid all unauthorized commentaries and interpretation on Bhagavad Gita and proceed in Krishna consciousness with determination and firmness. Jai Sri Prabhupada.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay, so now, so I have prepared this class based on Satyasara Prabhu's teachings on this particular topic and various references from Srila Prabhupada. So the topics I'm planning to discuss today are Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna here, it's saying that I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Then what are the various expansions of Krishna? Then the creation of this material world. Then who are we? Okay. Then we are going to talk about what is the message from Krishna, which is the wise who perfectly knows this, engages in my devotional service, and what is the role of Guru. This is the broad level of going to be today's session. So, as you all know, this particular chapter, the 9th chapter, the 10th chapter, sorry, we are reading from the 10th chapter. It's a very, very important chapter. This is the in the middle of the Bhagavad Gita, if you all can relate. So, the middle of the Bhagavad Gita is the most confidential, most essential part of Bhagavad Gita. So it's like, it's the most confidential part is jammed in between. It's the whole Bhagavad Gita can be divided into 3 sections of chapter 1 to 6 and 6 to 12 and 12 to 18. So, so this particular portion is very, this particular chapter is known as the opulence of the Absolute. In Sanskrit word, it is called Vibhuti Yoga. Vibhuti means opulence. Opulence means various energies of the Lord, right? So, so we all know Krishna is great, right? Krishna is great. In Islam they say Allahu Akbar. It means God is great, right? But how great is God? That we will come to know by knowing more about Krishna, right? So, this chapter is going to talk about the opulences of Krishna, what all various energies Krishna has, right? Knowing that, we will be able to appreciate Krishna more, meaning we will be able to develop the greatness. Once we know the greatness of someone, it's like if you know a famous person, you start liking that person, right? Like so, a movie actor or if you know, say, Sachin Tendulkar for cricket, you start liking him, right? Same way, if we know more about that person, we will start liking that person. So that is what the importance of knowing the significance of all the opulences, right? And it's also important to know, how do we know about these things? So we cannot just like that know things. So many people can give so many information about God, right? But we need to know from a bona fide person. So we need to understand, hear from a person who has already realized about Krishna, right? So a person who has already seen is a person who is usually a spiritual master who has already come to the very advanced stage, who has already self-realized person. So we need to approach a bona fide spiritual master to understand the opulences of Krishna. And Krishna is giving it in this chapter. But we have to be careful because if we try to learn this by ourselves, right, we can go in the wrong path. We can come to a wrong conclusion. So that's why it's very important we learn from a bona fide guru. Now this is also a part of, this particular verse is a part of Chatursloki verse, Bhagavad Gita. So Chatursloki means 4 verses. This tells the entire essence of Bhagavad Gita in just 4 verses, right? The 4 verses are, the very first verse is what we are talking about. Aham sarvasya prabho matha sarvam pravartade idi mattva bhajate ma buddha bhava samanyata. I'm the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly knows this and engages in my devotion service. There are 3 more verses which I'm not going to go into this now due to the limited time we have. But if you have to, we'll go. Now there is also similar Chatursloki verse in Bhagavatam as well. Bhagavan is talking to Brahma, and that's also asserting that there are 4 verses in the 2nd canto, 9th chapter, and 33rd verse onwards. So this verse is also saying, Brahma, I am the personality of Godhead who exists before this creation and creation when there was nothing but myself. So that asserts that Krishna was the only person that was there before, nothing else, right? So from Krishna everything comes. So the word here is I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds, right? So everything is coming from him. Now since Krishna is saying this in various places, we can use that as a reference to know who is Krishna, right? All right, I'll move on to the next slide. So this will give you an idea about, this is the highest stage of Krishna. This is known as, in simple word, it is the Krishna Loka. It's also known as Goloka Vrindavan. Okay, this is the place where Krishna is always enjoying with gopis, especially Srimati Radharani. So a lot of pastimes are happening there. So this is the highest position, and Krishna is in a mood of enjoying mood. He has nothing to do. He is just in the Golok Vrindavan. He's always having some pastime with everyone. And then there are Krishna has so much opulences that he expands himself into various things, right? So then he has Madhura Dham, and then Dwaraka Dham, and Ayodhya Dham. So various dhams are there. These are various spiritual worlds. The spiritual world is the big place, meaning the whole creation can be divided into spiritual world and material world. And the spiritual world is the material world is only just 1/4 of it. Rest all are spiritual world. The material world itself is unimaginable for us. Then you can imagine how big, how great the spiritual world is. And this is various planetary systems in the spiritual world, the picture that we are showing here. And of that, the highest is the Krishna Loka, the Goloka Vrindavan. That's what being shown here. And and here we know that, so as we said, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How do we know? Because it's all stated in various places in the scriptures, right? One of the verses that ete chamsa kalai pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. This is from Bhagavatam. So here it says Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So the Supreme Personality is Krishna himself. So Krishna is a person, first of all. A person means we have a form. Okay, he has a form. It's not he is not a formless like many impersonalists say, but he has a form. That means we can have a relation with him. We can have a loving relationship with him. We can talk to him. We can have exchanges of emotions with him, right? We can. So when Krishna has so much of thing, and he is also very merciful. So Krishna is so merciful that he wants to help us, all of us. He wants to have a loving relation with all of us. And as I said earlier, he has so much of opulences, and he is trying to explain various opulences. By explaining the opulences, we will come to know more about Krishna, and we'll be able to appreciate him more, and we will be able to love him. Now, we are all part and parcel of Krishna, right? So we need to. Krishna wants to have a relation with all of us. We need to enjoy. Krishna wants to enjoy. He wants to have a particular rasa with all of us. That's why Krishna is there. Krishna has created all of us. And there are more references in Bhagavatam, and to say that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Brahma Samhita, we can see that Govinda Madipurisham Tamaham Bhajami. So Govinda is the Supreme Person from whom everything is emanating. So we have more and more references about Krishna is the Supreme Person. There are a lot more references. Already we have seen in the purport various quotes by Srila Prabhupada. So everything is coming to the assertive point that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? So as I said, we have a spiritual and material world, and even the spiritual and material worlds are also coming from Krishna. Krishna wanted to enjoy, so he creates all these material worlds and spiritual worlds. And material world has a different purpose. We will come to that. Let me go to the next slide. So now here, so far we were talking about the spiritual world. Now there is material world. What we see, the Skarana ocean, is from there the material world starts, and above that is Brahma Jyoti. Brahma Jyoti is the effulgence from Krishna's body, the rays that's coming out of Krishna. And the impersonalist wants to actually merge with this effulgence. That is their aim of liberation, right? So liberation means we want to go back to Krishna actually. That is the real liberation, mukti. There are various type of liberations. One of the liberation is that to go back to Brahma Jyoti, merge into the Brahma Jyoti. That way, the spiritual world is full of bliss. We all know that the material world is full of miseries. So we had been in this material world for way too long, right? We have been in this world suffering. It's known as dukkhalaya. We have been suffering from birth, death, old age, and disease. And we want to get out of this material world and go back to the spiritual world. That's our objective. We want to end this cycle of miseries. Now, I'm going to go a little deeper into the material world. The material world is where Krishna has expanded, various expansions of Krishna happened, and eventually Krishna expanded to Karano Dakshaya Vishnu. Is Mahavishnu, otherwise known as Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu is laying in the Karana ocean, also known as Viraja river. English word would be Kaushal ocean. This is what is causing the whole material world creation. Whole material world creation comes from Mahavishnu. Okay, so when Mahavishnu is laying in this ocean, he breathes. When he breathes, he inhales and exhales. Whenever he exhales, so many millions of universes come from the pores of his skin. So that's what this picture shows. So many universes are coming out of his body, right? So, and all these universes have millions of planets. It's so big, right? So we'll get into each and every each of the material world, but each of the universes. But millions of universes are generated from the pores of Mahavishnu's skin, right? And Mahavishnu is nothing but an expansion of Krishna. So, in that sense, everything is coming from Krishna. And, And we'll take one such universe and understand a little more in detail. So, in that, Mahavishnu is lying, and Mahavishnu then expands further. He expands as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and he enters into each and every universe. And he lays in that Garbhodakshaya ocean, Garbhodaka ocean, right? From that ocean, and from his navel, a lotus flower sprouts. And from the lotus flower, on the top of the lotus flower, Brahma is born. Lord Brahma is, he is the first person that is, born from the universe. Okay, so he is the Lord Brahma. You can see in the picture here, this is Lord Brahma. And from Lord Brahma, secondary creations happen. So Brahma creates further, and there are many. There are 14 planetary systems. Everything is sitting on this stem of this lotus flower, right? So we are in the middle part, which is known as the Bhuvar Loka, and there is this upper planetary system is known as the heavenly planets. There are 7 planetary system, upper planetary system, and 7 planetary system below as well. The below one is known as the hellish planets. So the heavenly planets, everything is very nice, more comfortable life, less suffering. Whereas in the hellish planet, it is more suffering. And in the middle planet, which is the Bhurloka, which is where we are living, in that planet we have mixture of both suffering and pleasure as well. So little bit of pleasure is there, little bit of suffering. Thank you. So both are there in this planet, right? So now we'll move to the next one. And this universe is a shape of an egg. You can see that it's the shape of an egg, elliptical. And this universe is created with various material elements. We'll go a little more deeper into that. Okay. So Karanodakshaya Vishnu, we were talking about Karanodakshaya Vishnu, who is already, who is Mahavishnu himself, right? So Mahavishnu, from when as we explained, the various universes are created from the breathing, and each of the universe, he would have impregnated jivas into this material world, and he would have already this. When the material world comes up, it already has 3 modes of material nature. It's already infused into this material world, right? But that material world is known as pradhan. It is in an unmanifested state, meaning it is in a state where everything is quiet, calm, nothing is happening. In one of the classes, Sarah Prabhu mentioned, it's like in a lake where there is water, and there is no wind or nothing. So it is quiet, calm and quiet. That is a kind of state in the original state known as pradhan. Then when Mahavishnu just glances at this one, when he glances, he also he invokes the Kala. Kala is the time energy into that, and also impregnates jivas into that pradhan. When he glances, the whole material world gets agitated. It's like a calm lake where a wind is coming, and all of a sudden there are waves start coming up. So there is an agitation happening at that point. When that material world is agitated, that transforms into something known as Mahat Tattva. And in Mahat Tattva, already we have the 3 modes of natures are already there, but in the beginning stage, the Sattva Guna is predominant, and later it is further transformed into Sutra Tattva, which is where Rajas, that is mode of passion, becomes prominent. Then it is eventually transformed into Ahangara. Ahangara means false ego, and where Tamas is more prominent. Tamas means the mode of ignorance. The Sattva means mode of goodness. Rajas means mode of passion, and Tamas means mode of ignorance. So these are the 3 modes. From these 3 modes, basically various, all the 3 modes becomes more predominant later on, and it is eventually transformed into various material elements. These material elements are the basis of, are the building blocks for the, in the material world, all the creation. We are all jivas. We have a spiritual body, but when we come to the material world, we need to have material elements to stay in this material world. It is like when we are to go into the water, we need scuba, all the equipments we need. Same way, when we are into a different world, material world, we need a specific body that suits the material nature. And there are 24 elements, material elements are there, and these are all formed from this creation, after the agitation of Mahatattva. So there are 24 elements are basically are divided into various sections, gross elements. Gross elements are the ones which you can see: earth, water, fire, air, ether. Okay, that they form the gross elements. Then there are some knowledge acquiring elements. They are eyes, ears, nose, tongues, touch. Then there are working senses that are voice, legs, hands, evacuating organs, and reproducing organs. Then we have subtle elements that are subtle senses known as mind, intelligence, and false ego. Then also we have pradhan there. And then there are objects of senses that are that is form, sound, smell, taste, and touch. Right? These are the various 24 material elements that are needed for this material world creation to happen. Right? So, Lord Brahma does the secondary creation. So far, our verse is that I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. So we now understand how this material world is created and how the spiritual world is created, existing. It's all coming from Krishna, right? So, we all know that after the creation, after the material world is created, Lord Brahma does further creation, secondary creation, such as demigods. Then he creates Prajapatis. Prajapatis are the patriarchs. They are the ones who propagate and fill the whole population in this material world. So from once the Prajapatis creates more and more population, that whole material world functions the way we are seeing right now. And Krishna is also so merciful. He is very very much merciful to us, that Krishna wants to observe us. So what Krishna does is he comes in the form he's laying in the Garbhodakshayi. Vishnu will enter. I'll go to the previous picture actually. So here you can see Garbhodakshayi Vishnu is laying in this one universe, and Garbhodakshayi Vishnu also expands further as Kshirodakshayi Vishnu. And Kshirodakshayi Vishnu then in the form of super soul enters into each and the material body of each and every person. So we are all jivas. So we will have a material body, and just to monitor us, just to help us, he comes as super soul and sits in this our material body, right? So you can see the super soul as a four-handed Vishnu form. So he's sitting in our heart besides our. So we are all spiritual soul, spirit souls. Let me see. So who are we? We are actually spirit soul, and we are all conditioned, but we are all the eternal fragmental parts of this the Supreme Lord. We are actually coming from the Supreme Lord. It's just like this finger is our part of the body, right? Like that, we are also part of the Supreme Lord. We are but very, very minute parts. That's the difference. And we are can somebody tell me the size of a super soul? Okay, all right. Thank you. So it looks like everybody knows. Okay, so we are that small part of the Supreme Soul, of the Supreme Lord, and When we are in this material world, we acquire a body according to our karma. So we may become an animal, or we may become aquatic, we may become fish or something else, or we may become a bird, or we may become a human being, or we can become a demigod as well. That all depends on our karma, our past deeds. So, but our original position is we are eternal, fragmental part of the Supreme Lord, right? And so how do we know that we are the fragmental part? There is a famous verse in Bhagavad Gita. Can somebody tell me that verse? Yeah. Okay, very good. So it's already stated in Bhagavad Gita. We are the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Okay, and as we mentioned earlier, in order to know this, we need to understand from all this knowledge. We can come to know only through a guru, right? We cannot just learn by as I mentioned earlier. It's mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita middle portion. So that's the confidential knowledge. Just by reading, we may understand a little bit, but we may also get the wrong idea. So we need to learn from a person who is already self-realized about Krishna, about God, and who is already practicing, who is serving Krishna. So what is our constitutional position? Meaning, what is our real position? Once we are back in the spiritual world, in Krishna Loka, what is our duty? We have to just love and serve Krishna, right? So to a person, a guru is such a person, a bona fide guru is such a person who is self-realized, who is already reached the position of is in a servitude mode, 24/7. So we want to learn from such a person. So that's why Krishna is saying here, the wise who perfectly knows engages in my devotional service. So we need to meditate on that. So this is our duty right now. Once we understand who we are and what is our position, we need to keep doing devotional services. That is the only way. And to do the devotional service, we need to approach a spiritual master, a guru. A guru can be an initiating guru or a shiksha guru, like Satyasara Prabhu. We have to get guidance from such elevated persons. So then they will guide us to do the right devotional services. So, so here we can see, I just put a quote here. Lord Rishabdev from Bhagavatam is telling his sons that, okay, you should accept a highly elevated Paramahamsa, a spiritually advanced spiritual master. In this way, you should place your faith and love in me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's a very, very nice message. Lord Rishabdev is nothing but he's a Supreme Personality of Godhead, expansion of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we also see in Bhagavad Gita, also we see Tadvitti Pranipadena Pariprachnena Seveya Ubadeshayantate Jnanam Jnaninas Tattva Darshinaha. We should inquire from a spiritual master and understand this truth. So I think I have only 5 more minutes I'll open up for, so before that, what are the things we learned? We just learned that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Krishna is the source of all spiritual and material worlds, and Mahavishnu is an expansion of Krishna who creates the material world and impregnates material worlds with the jivas and agitates the material world, which leads to various transformations to form this material elements and needed for that are needed for further creations. And we are also part and parcel of Krishna. And to get this perfect knowledge, we need to approach a spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master. That's all the things we learned. And I'll open up for questions or comments. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji. I'll give a mic to Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
I always like your class and your singing.
Hare Bol.
Doesn't mean that others want to like, but
Hare Bol.
but I like to connect.
Hare Bol.
Easily it connects me.
Hare Bol. Srila Prabhupada's mercy, Guru Satsara Prabhu's mercy, Gurudev's mercy.
Yes. Another class is very interesting, a universal, like, how it creates and all. Creation is always interesting topic, Prabhu.
Hare Bol.
For me, you mentioned like about the material nature, pradhana from pradhana, mahatattva comes, right?
Yes, Mataji.
So that is unmixed state.
Yes.
Meaning like a very
Unmanifested state, meaning that is the example which we were giving was that it's like a lake where it's quite calm, nothing is there, it's just steady. If nothing is happening, that's the initial stage of material world where nothing is happening, but all the elements are already there. It's like say a plain land, but there are already seeds are already there, like but when a rain comes, all the seeds start sprouting, right? So that is the best way to imagine this one. So when you agitate by the glance of Mahavishnu, those seeds that are already existing start sprouting. All the jivas starts getting material elements are created, and material elements eventually are used to give bodies to jivas. Prabhu, you want to add more? Yes.
I think the creation can be understood as a cooking. You are going to cook some dish, so you get all the ingredients, everything is ready, you chop the vegetables, all the masala is ready, now you have to mix and make it. So that is the state. So the Lord has given everything is ready to put it in tawa and start to cook. So that is the state, it is undifferentiated. If everything is ready, now we have to cook. So that's the state. So creation should be understood based on cooking only.
Okay.
So Krishna gives all the ingredients and Brahma takes everything and everything is ready for Brahma. Now Brahma is going to come and just put everything and mix it and make these dishes. So this state is all the ingredients are ready for cooking. So only Brahma is, we are waiting for Brahma.
Then what is the difference between sattva and rajas and coming from
Well,
those three and another three, like goodness, passion?
well, that's a detail. So the modes are not differentiated, meaning everything is inside that pradhan. So it's not differentiated like a mode of goodness means, it's sattva. Sattva means like you have knowledge, peace, and so that is not differentiated yet. Rajas means you go get things done, so it's not active yet. It is all in inactive state. So they become active the next step. So then they started to differentiate, okay, this is sattva and this is rajas and this is tamas. So these are the activities prescribed for all these things. Then the jivas started to acquire those things because the jivas are also ready to go in pradhan. So then according to your karma and then you acquire the modes. Then jiva is ready to, okay, so this much sattva, this much rajas, this much tamas. So then the jivas are assigned the modes accordingly. Then they need a body to exercise it. So in order to for you to have a body, you need ahankara, you need to have ego. Yesterday we were discussing. Ego means your identity. The jiva has to identify and say, okay, I am this body. Then I have these desires, I need to go for it. Then in order to fulfill the desires, but according to karma, I have only this much sattva, this much rajas and this much tamas. So accordingly the body is created for you. So you need to identify with the body, that is ahankara. Then for ahankara, then intelligence comes. Okay, how do I go for enjoyment? So then intelligence comes. Then the mind comes. Mind says, okay, now you have intelligence how to enjoy it. So let's go and plan for it. So then the mind comes. So like that the jiva gets one by one. So, I'm just giving a very high level summary, but that is how the differentiation happens, and the jiva gets assigned, and jiva gets the body, then you get the planets and you are assigned to the planets and everything happens. I think what Prabhu is showing here is a very high level breakdown, but you can just zoom in and just to go how the mode of goodness gets created and things like that. Okay, but I'm just giving a high level also.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. There are more details. If you can go to the third canto of Bhagavatam. I think so. It has more details are given there. So, Haribol, yes, ma'am.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. It's a very interesting topic. I was contemplating this morning, even on a more higher level. What is the ultimate purpose of creating the world?
The material world, you mean? Or the spiritual world?
Apparently, like all the world.
Whole world, okay.
Because material world is just one of the plane of it, so
Right.
it's descend down. So
Right.
what is
Ultimate goal.
purpose?
Right. So, very, very good question, Mataji. I'll attempt to answer, and I'll hand over to Prabhu. So, Krishna is the supreme enjoyer of everything. He has nothing to do. He just wants to enjoy. So he has so much of opulences, right? He has so much of energy, and for him to enjoy, he wants to have a loving relationship with everyone. So he creates. He has to create a place for every jivas that is coming out of him. So he has a spiritual world where he is expanding himself to enjoy himself, right? So he cannot stand alone and just sit idle. So he wants to enjoy himself. So he expands. His first expansion becomes Balram, and like that, that is a lot of details are there. The various expansions are happening there, and Radha Rani is also an expansion of, coming from Krishna, and he wants to have a loving relation with everybody, right? Now, that loving relation, so there is that spiritual world is there where everything is happening. Now, what happens is Krishna is enjoying with all the jivas, and some of the jivas like us, we start feeling that, okay, how come Krishna is alone enjoying? Why cannot I also enjoy? So then we want to imitate Krishna, okay? But Krishna is the master and we are the servants actually. But when we get that feeling, Krishna wants to satisfy our desire. So he created a material world where you can go and enjoy. In spiritual world, we cannot have that situation. In spiritual world, only servitude more towards Krishna. We are actually have a relation only with Krishna. But material world is a place created just for jivas to enjoy separately from Krishna. But that is not a good place. This place of misery, because Krishna wants us back there, right? So, okay, yes.
Yes.
Okay, could you repeat that last one?
from whatever you explain right now, Krishna's enjoyment is the ultimate goal, or there's expansion of him as ultimate goal? Because nothing can be still. Since what above, so below, even observing our own expansion in a way, in order to come back to Krishna, we have to be on a path, following Dharma. So basically we expand. As Saita Prabhu told yesterday, the soul waking up. It means, like you said, it's already all potential in it. So there is nothing new. That's what really bugged me. After yesterday lecture, I slept on it, and it's only I only scratched the surface. So it wouldn't be enough if it just like the soul will just wake up, and it has everything already. So I don't know, Krishna himself will be satisfied with that. So it feels like everywhere is expansion. That's the ultimate goal, isn't it?
And what I said yesterday, and build on it. Well, the goal is, Krishna very clearly, very unambiguously says in Bhagavad Gita, "A Brahma Bhavanan Loka Punaravartino Arjuna Mam Upathyatu Kaunteya Punajanmana Vidyate." The goal, very clear in the material world, is to just exit and come to Mam Upathyatu Kaunteya Punajanmana Vidyate. You come to me, you will never take birth again. So, but the repeated birth and death happens from Brahma to Brahmaloka, all the 14 planetary system. So the goal is very clear. Go back. Yes, in the material world, I'm coming there. So then you go to spiritual world. So the spiritual world, we go to spiritual world based on your bhava and rasa you develop, the relationship you develop with the Lord while you are in the material world. So we are coming to temple, we are chanting, we are doing harati, we are glorifying the Lord, we are appreciating Him, we are having prasadam. What is this? This is the activity, these are the activities we will be doing in the spiritual world. So we are recreating it here and we are getting used to this. So today we are doing once a week. Every Sunday, 11:30, we all come to temple, we do all these activities. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantasya dattavrataha, Krishna says. This activity has to happen 24/7. How does that happen? It doesn't happen overnight like that. So you practice. Okay, you start coming to temple on Sundays, attend all these programs, go home with the nourishment, spiritual nourishment, try to recreate at home and try to live this life there. So at some point we will become like, this is the life. There is nothing else. Then you are in the spiritual world already. Though you may be in the material world, you have material body or whatever, your consciousness, your activities, your qualities, everything is spiritualized. Then at that time when you go to spiritual world, you do the same thing. So when you go there, what kind of relationship you have, right? Some people see Krishna as a lover. Some people see Krishna as a son or whatever, Vatsalya or friend, things like that. So we develop that relationship and we nourish it here with the help of devotee, with the help of spiritual master. Then this becomes your 24/7 activity. There is nothing else. So then you go to spiritual world, so there is no difference. You go to spiritual world and yeah.
What is the ultimate goal to do this expansion? For him himself, whether expansion.
To give pleasure to us. That's why I'm coming. To give pleasure to us.
We haven't existed yet. If we go from top.
Oh, I see. So you are. Oh, 1 minute. There's never a time that we did not exist. We always exist. That's the point. We always exist. There's not one point that only Krishna was there. None of us were not there. Krishna very clearly makes it. Mamevam sujiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. We always existed because we are energy of the Lord. So when there is energetic, there is energy. When there is energy and there is energetic behind. We discussed that in Rajavidya.
So like the droplets of the ocean, of the wave which is in the air. This is how we see. There's the ocean, there's the wave come. Wave disperses itself and create a whole
will eventually come back to that ocean. That's what I see.
That is true.
Of the Brahma. But Brahma, it's only deviation of
Pradhan.
Krishna. So that's what we go. And
So let us take it offline and discuss. I'll explain to you, but you are correct. The ocean example is totally correct. We are like a drop in the ocean, but we still keep the identity. That's the point.
of course, we get into illusion being in somewhere away for split
It's like-
seconds from the ocean that we are separate and we enjoy sunlight and everything and then we come back. But what I see in that particular experience, our personal pastimes, we expand and gain a little of sunlight, a little bit, and we go bring back to Krishna. That's how I see it.
Totally correct. We'll take it offline. So I'll give another example. Shastra gives an analogy to understand it. Because sun and the sun rays, they always exist. Whenever there is sun, there is a sun rays. So you cannot say the sun rays came from sun. No, it is always there. Energetic is there means there is energy. So like when Krishna is there means we are also there. Part and parcel of it.
What Veda says about ultimate goal of Krishna, read. So, expansion or enjoyment, or both.
Enjoyment. It's very simple. For that enjoyment you expand. It is pretty simple. So why? So you were alone before,
Our journey will be the same thing.
right?
Going glad and serve. So, as you serve,
That's how it is, right? So we were young.
going up and there is more when we don't know yet, we cannot grasp. I just,
Okay.
that's what.
It's a very, very simple. You need to understand the fundamental principle first, Radha, right? So then everything will make sense. For example, we were young, we were a child, then we grow up, you become a teenager, then you become a elderly, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm coming there. Little bit patient. So you come there, then you want to get married, then you want to have children, then you want to have a house, then you want to have friends, then you want how you're expanding, or the expansion of the expansion. to maximize the enjoyment. In the material world, we think it is enjoyment, but it is an anticlimax. We think it is going to give me enjoyment, but we get stuck and we suffer and things like that.
There's enjoyment in it.
Exactly. There is enjoyment is there. It's between two sufferings.
Expansion.
Yes. Beautiful point, Radha brought up.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm very happy with all those wonderful questions. Thank you. I think we are out of time. Rajavidya Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Radha Damodar Prabhu. That's a wonderful lecture. And thank you, devotees, for promptly listening and asking questions. Please rise. We can have Aarti now. Swarna Manjari Mataji, you are doing Aarti, right? Hare Krishna. Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's fine. It'll be fine. I have a loud voice anyway. That's good, Prabhu.
Prabhu, can we move a little forward? This one? Yeah.
Hello, Sevya Didi. How are you?
मेरा इंडिया कैसे लगा? अच्छा?
You want to sing?
Should I start?
नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्तारिणे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंदा कृष्ण चैतन्य चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंदा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Hare Namah Krishna Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Yadavaya Yama Krishna Keshavaya Namaha Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Hare Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana 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 Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohana Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayo Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Jayo Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Jayo Radha Sham Sundar Radhe Jayo Radha Sham Sundar Radhe Jayo Radha Giridhari Radhe Jayo Radha Giridhari Radhe Jayo Radha Neel Madhav Radhe Jayo Radha Neel Madhav Radhe Jayo Radha Gopinath Radhe Jayo Radha Gopinath Radhe Jayo Radhe Jayo Shri Radhe Jayo Radhe Jayo Shri Radhe Jayo Gauranitai 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 Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Jayo Jayo Prabhupada Prabhupada Jayo Jayo Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajakacarya Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्री हरदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की नवदीप धाम की यमुना देवी गंगा देवी तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की बृहत मृदंगा की हरिनाम संकीर्तन की सामवेद भक्त वृंद की गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Hare Krishna Temple of Austin ki Jai.
That's okay. Should we start? Namaste Narasimhaya. Praladalada Daine हिरण्यकाशिपूर्वक्षः
हिरण्याकाशीपूर्वक्षः
शीलतन्तानखालाये
शीलताङ्कान्नकालाये
तव सिंहो परतो नरसिंहो
इतो नरसिंहो परतो नरसिंहो
यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंहो
यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंहो
बहे नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो
बहे नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो
नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपदे
नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये
तव करकमलवरे नाकाम् अद्भुतशृङ्गा ललिता हिरण्यकशिपूतनुभृङ्गाम् केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे तव
करकमलवरे नाकाम् अद्भुतलिङ्गां दलिता हिरण्यकशिपो तनुभृङ्गां सवरिता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
जय जगदीश जय जगदीश जय जगदीश हरे
जय जगदीश जय जगदीश जय जगदीश हरे
जयो नरसिंहदेव जयो नरसिंहदेव जयो नरसिंहदेव जयो नरसिंहदेव
जयो नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव
जयो प्रहलाद महाराज जयो प्रहलाद महाराज जयो प्रहलाद महाराज जयो प्रहलाद महाराज
जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल
निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल
जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद
प्रभुपाद
प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद
जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव
जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय प्रहलाद महाराज की जय थैंक यू राधा